are live. Good morning. Good morning. This is the Straight Talk Morning Show. My name is Andre Hill, and my co-host and engineer, Andre Hill Jr. And also we have Brenda Allen, the president of the UPA, the Urban Progress Alliance organization. Today is a very special show. This is the show of the millennium. You know how I do it. I posted up on Facebook what we're going to talk about, but this is the show of the millennium because we have a special guest coming on today that's going to be one of the main leaders of the paradigm shift. Dr. B. Sirius, an international music producer, metaphysics, herbalist, naturopath, educator, healer, and researcher. Our show title today is What's Eating You? As a Grammy-nominated platinum record producer, he's worked with some of the top recording artists in the world, which challenged his personal health. We're going to talk about how that challenge went down. Transforming as an elite metaphysical practitioner, he has collaborated with the likes of Dick Gregory, Stevie Wonder, elevating people like you worldwide and elevating their minds, bodies, spirits naturally. All right, so this show is really special to me, because anytime you get melanated men and women coming together, but especially the number one target of the dark side is melanated men. And when you get us coming together on a common denominator, on an equal playing field, understanding, respecting each other's abilities. I'm not better than you. You're not lesser than me. We all equivalent. We're all necessary. And when we bring this sort of energy together, it's the manifestation of the Supreme Being. It's the manifestation of the Christ being, the Holy Spirit, all of those things that you have been referenced in various literature in the religious sector. So this is it, folks. This is a collective here today. Brenda, you have met Dr. B many years ago, and it is only fitting for you to introduce him, talk about your experience with him in the LA area. Now he's on the East Coast. Give us a little feedback on your experience with him.
Thank you. First of all, let me say I am highly honored to be in the presence of three great kings, three great Black kings, and it brings delight to my heart to know that I sit among such greatness, and to have met Dr. B back in the 1990s was truly, truly a divine intervention, because when I first heard him was on Stevie Wonder's KJLH front page radio station, came on very early in the morning, like at 4:30. Who's up at 4:30 in the morning, right? But I was, and I listened, and I heard him, and I was enthralled by the knowledge that he was giving. And then I followed him to The Good Life, which was a vegan or health food cafe where he would give his lectures, he would bring his product, his music, he shared his knowledge and all of his talents with us. And then he branched out and got his own space. I would come on Pico Boulevard in LA, I'd sit there, I'd watch him do charts and graphs and talk about the millennium and how the eras are changing. And I would sit and take notes. I was an astute student. And so this is actually, I think, a very phenomenal moment when, and it has only happened twice in my life, where the teacher meets the prodigy. So he was my teacher, I am the prodigy, and I am a result of his teaching. And so with that, I have been able to buy his product, buy his music, follow him, understand the information that he was sharing with us, and even to the point of watching him do levitation, which was a phenomenal feat to me. And I saw it with my own eyes, and I can attest to how it happens. And I know that's how the pyramids were built, with the levitation. So Dr. B, I love you. I have always honored you. I am glad that when I came across your post in Facebook, the Spirit said, Brenda, you need to write something. And so I followed that directive and I typed in what I had to say. We need you. We need your input. We need your energy. We need your knowledge. Please meet the next king and the Christ here, Mr. Andre Hill Sr. And so you wrote back and said, call me. I said, okay. So I called. And then you said, call me back in an hour. I'm like, okay, I'll call back in an hour. And then we made the connection. And this is where we are, ready to make this huge, phenomenal paradigm shift. And so I honor you. I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad that I have my voice to speak to you today to tell you how much you have helped me understand my divine goddess, queen spirit within me.
Absolutely. Dr. B, that's your cue. That's one of the best introductions ever.
So
Wow.
right.
Wow. I'm honored to be here, number one. I'm honored to take these breaths of this particular time called nowness. And I'm glad that we have come together and that in this year, in this challenging time on this planet, in the universe, in the omniverse, and in the multiverse, that, we get to share our experiences and our observations. And it's just a great thing to meet you, Andre, and to talk to you on the phone. I know we get on the phone, man. It's like, I don't know if I see this guy's number flash. I mean, the first day, what we talked, I don't even know how long we talked.
The first day I start elevating just the conversation we had, I had to get off the phone because I was getting ready to float up out the roof.
You see, it was deep. It was deep. So we're all going through a transfiguration, a shift. To say the least. That's just the easy way to explain it. And and Brenda, when you called and you said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "Of course I remember you." Because you go way back. You were at some of my very first, presentations at that place, The Good Life, and that's that's a whole nother guy.
Yes.
I just barely remember him. When you mentioned these things I did, I was like, wait a minute, did I do that? Oh, he did. Oh, yeah, that guy was doing some stuff. But my highest choices that I've refined since then, and that things have shifted since then, and we have new things to talk about. A new paradigm is here now. So it's good to see you, Brenda. Thank you very much, and it's good to see that you're growing and expanding. And it's great to be here and to be part of this new family, this new situation. So thank you very much. I'm very honored.
You're very welcome. You're so deserving. All three of you are. I admire your bravery, your courage, your ability to stand no matter what we face in this world. But we have a mission, and the divine is part of our help. And so we bring this whole energy to the planet so that we can help make it right. We must do it, and we must bring about the balance that is so much needed with bringing in the positive and bringing up that level. So I'm on a divine order to do this, and it's been brought about through UPA. And I'll tell you how I came to be a part of UPA. Before I lived in Los Angeles, and I was asking, what should I do next? And so the Spirit says, put your house on the market and move to Brandon, Florida. And I'm like, how in the heck am I going to do that? But a way was made for me to get here. And little did I know that once I got here, I had to go through cancer survival, and then to find the Ma'at Conscious Project through Andre Sr., because I was looking for that metaphysical part of what my spirit needed. And I came across Andre Sr. on Facebook. He then told me that I was clairvoyant, because I do have the talent of vision, that I can see what is in my future. And so I've seen myself here in Florida. I've seen myself also standing on a podium with a throng of people before me. So that is where I'm headed in my divinity. So my pineal gland is open. I am ready to take the force with me as we make this divine shift. So that's an attestament for you, Dr. B, because you put me on the path, helped me get there to understand how the millennium and the era of peace works, that we're in it now, and that we must be a part of that shift. And I am so ready for it. And when Andre told me that you guys had spoken for so long, he said, when I saw him, he says, look at my eyes. I'm like, what am I supposed to see? But he had just gotten off the phone with you. And when he told me that we had the power of a nuclear warhead coming together, oh,
100.
100. So yes, indeed, we are purposefully here at this time and in this moment with Andre Jr. as well, bringing in that energy of his youthfulness. So carry on, gentlemen.
So go ahead. So Dr. B, I promised our listening audience that they were going to be enlightened and that we were the beginning of the paradigm shift and the power field to resurrect them from the brink of destruction. And today's topic is the parasite. Can you enlighten us?
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to start by taking enlightenment to the next level. When you take enlightenment to the next level, you end up with endarkenment. All light comes from darkness, the triple darkness. You see, dark matter is the #1 material of the omniverse, the universe, dark matter. Everything comes from darkness. That's how it begins. All colors, all sounds, all frequencies, all sacred mathematics, everything is coming from the darkness. And that darkness is not a bad thing, as we've been told. See, a lot of times we get scared out of using the sacred terms that actually give us power. You know, things get flipped on us. So dark becomes bad. You look it up in the dictionary. It's just dreary. It gets worse and worse the further you go down the road. You go to light, it's amazing. Oh my gosh, you know. But the darkness, which is the arc, the arc of the covenant, the arc of the way we travel through space. An arc is a small piece of a spiral. So when we travel into the darkness, we travel into where we began, where we come from. All things come from that. And we sometimes are directed to other things by beings that direct us. They hurt us, they use us. They're like parasites. Parasites are beings that live in or on or near another being and use that being's energy, and they give nothing to you, the host. See, so imagine you're having a party. You call all your best friends and they come. You tell them, don't bring anything, just come. And they come and they party. You're the host. You got to have music. You got to have good music. You can't have these little cheap speakers, you know. You can't just be playing your iPad out the iPad speakers or your computer. No, you got to have bass. you know, we got to be able to move, and you got to have drinks. You got to have snacks. You have to have things that cause people to desire to be there. There has to be elevated conversation. For you to be the host, you are the director of your situation. So you're the CEO. But the difference is when a parasite finds a host, it doesn't bring anything to the party. And it doesn't even bring good conversation. You know, the one that's always eating all the snacks, they always buy the bowl, they're having another drink. Then at the end of the party, right? At the end of the party, they leave a little early before it's over so they don't have to help clean up. They don't even pick up the glass, and you know, they got peanut shells all around the chair they was sitting in, and they didn't even pick them up. and they're gone. And see, they use you. So we're in a situation of usury unless we become the host and the CEO and we set a stage. So we're in a place where we're being used. You see, there is a relationship between people and plants that's reciprocal. So we breathe out carbon dioxide, which is a toxin, which the plants take in. They take that and transform it into oxygen. So we give them our carbon dioxide, which they need. They give us oxygen, which we need. It's reciprocal. It's a give and take thing.
Yes.
You go to work. You know, my highest choice is that you go to work and they pay you a fair wage. Now, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so if you're getting a fair wage, no, it's no robbery. It's an exchange. But parasites are beings that don't believe or don't know or don't realize or aren't even available to give in exchange. They take. You see? So there's a couple different types of parasites. The common parasite is the one we know of that lives in or on the body. You see, ectoparasites live on outside of the body. Endoparasites live inside the body, okay? The endoparasites are sometimes microscopic. They're very small. You can't see them with the human eye or the naked eye, right? And then there's ones that's up to 33 feet long. The 33-foot long parasite is a tapeworm that can live in your digestive tract, which goes all the way from the top of your stomach through your digestive tract, which is about 33 feet long, right? And they eat everything you eat. You see, parasites, these physical internal parasites, the endoparasites eat your food. They eat your organs. They use you. They give you nothing. They don't help you. They're not your friends. They're there to use you. You see, you are the host and you better have music. You better have food. You got to eat certain foods that they want. So certain parasites first of all, they're over 2 billion years old. They're some of the first creatures on the planet. Okay, they're very old. They're very developed. Some of what you might even call very intelligent. And some of them have developed to the point where they can tap into your nervous system and make you get the food that you don't need, but they need. There's certain foods that the parasite desires for you to eat because it keeps your immune system weak. As long as your immune system is weak, your immune system can't fight them off. You don't have any guardians at the gate. You see? So they'll tell you, you decide you want to eat better. Then you walk in the store and you hear, 25 pounds of shrimp on sale, right? Get 25 pounds and get 50 pounds free. You see? So you know that you've chosen to not eat shrimp. But guess what? The shrimp right now are on sale. Why? Because most of it's being grabbed from the Gulf of Mexico, where the Exxon Valdez and all the rest of these boats dropped oil and chemicals and they had all those spills. So those animals, those things that are living in the water there are basically toxic. The body does not need toxins, but the parasite says, if I get you, if I convince you, if I work on your nervous system, I can make you go eat something that's a little toxic for you so that I might live, so that your immune system isn't strong enough to fight me off, so that your guardians, which would normally be protecting you, are not protecting you. So these type of parasites would have you eating things and have you having certain habits, right? So that they can stay in charge, so that they can live their lives, you see? And these parasites live in 28-day cycles. They live in what they call a circadian rhythm based on the moon. So during that 28-day cycle, they eat, they mate, they do all these different things within that cycle to what? To thrive. Their thing is to live, to survive. They're not concerned about you, but they are. You see, they don't want to kill you. They want to keep you almost dead. They want to keep you dumb, deaf, dumb, blind, ignorant, foolish, and downcast. You see, they're going to do that because that energy level that you're at that's really low gives them a high energy level. You see, they're not giving you anything. So, and there's many, many, many types of parasites. There's over 2,000 different parasites, right, that can live in humans. Now, some of these parasites are what you call zoopic. Zoopic means that they lived in animals and they crossed into humans. You see, like the syphilis parasite, that comes from sheep. Someone was having relations with sheep on boats on the way over here.
Yeah.
You see?
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
this is why some of the children are sheeple. Well, I'm joking. Anyway, so, there were people having relations. I mean, folks were on these boats coming to America, right, for the first time, and they were carrying animals. They had all their livestock, and they were living with them. Yeah. Some of them were dating them. Yes, that's right. Dating the animals is the old thing. But the animal can't argue. The animal, what I'm saying? The animal can't raise Cain, ask for gifts. Just put some hay, throw some seed. But people were having these relations with animals, so the parasites that would normally live in the animal were crossed into humans. And syphilis is one of those. And there's several what we call diseases and illnesses that came from animals. And now we have this close relationship with animals. We want them in the house. You know what I'm saying? They're sleeping in our bed. You know what I'm saying? When Harry's not home, my dog is there for me. It gets deep. The consciousness gets deep. And I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying that there is a downside. So these parasites are the zoopic parasites. Like there's one called the dog heartworm, right? Dogs have it, doesn't really bother them. Yeah. But the dog heartworm gets in your body, wraps around your heart, looks like spaghetti, and begins to choke the heart. A lot of people have heart disease because they've got a dog heartworm. You see, there's pinworms. A lot of folks know about pinworms because they had little babies, and they would see in the diaper, there would be these tiny little pinworms, look like rice, miniature rice. They live inside the anus. They come out at night, you know what I'm saying? And they hang out and they eat, and in the daytime when the light is up, they go inside. So a lot of people think they have hemorrhoids and things like that and itchy anus, but a lot of times this is, one of those, type of parasites. But there's many, many, and I could go on and on about parasites. And you'd have to ask me some more questions because that subject is really deep. I mean, and when I first, like when I first used to speak at the Good Life and places like that, I wasn't into parasites. For many, many years, I really started speaking about 1994. I got into herbs in the early 90s, but I didn't start speaking to 94. But it wasn't until 1996 that the parasite piece hit because of an experience that I had, an endarkenment, which, it's a whole nother story. It's probably a whole nother show. But what I realize is that we are being used not only by parasites living in us, people who have become parasites. You see, people who use you. You got friends and relatives who are parasites. They always want stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they're always crying. They always got a problem. They're victims, and you got to come and, you got an ambulance hat on. You can't even sleep good. You got to, sleep with your slippers and your boots on because they're going to call. They need things and they're needy, but they very seldom give you something. You see, sometimes they'll give you advice. They'll even explain to you what friendship is all about. They'll tell you what being a good cousin, a good mother, and a good father is. They'll explain that to you, right? So that you'll feel a certain way so they can usurp and use your energy. So that is like a person that's a parasite. And there's groups of people, right? Like some people say like the 1% is using everybody else, you know what I'm saying? And we become the host, you see?
Yeah.
But there's several different types of parasites. There's the mental parasite. The mental parasite are ideas from your past that still live in your present and eat you alive every day. That's a mental parasite, you see? Then there's energetic parasites. These are things that suck your energy. Whatever controls your time controls your mind. Whatever or whoever controls your time controls your mind. If you're not getting something from that, if it's not reciprocal, then that thing that's controlling your time is parasitic. It's eating. The word parasite means life besides. Para means besides. Cytos or cytos means life. Life besides. And it mimics you. It hangs out with you. You see? And you can live with it, but you may not ever live at your highest vibration, which means that you'll never wake up totally alive. So you're half dead.
So Dr. B, and we've been preaching this about the parasites for quite some time, and I'm glad to see you bring a different perspective. One of the subjects that I've dwelled in is that there are extraterrestrial and terrestrial entities that are thousands of years old, and they have systems or societies that are thousands of years old that went in the direction of artificial intelligence, and they are allowed to operate on this planet with a free get out of jail card to test us. You know, I'm thinking that at one point we were given this utopia on a silver platter as the children of the Most High. And then we were given rules and in terms of how to work with each other, how to maintain balance with each other. And somehow or another, we were convinced to get unbalanced, to go into an unbalanced mode. And then that's when our social and physical structure started to break down. The imbalance, the spiritual, the equally yoked souls were thrown out of balance because these extraterrestrial or terrestrial entities that were allowed to test us use this science to manipulate us. And now we have all these different races that are at each other's throat or feeling that we have to compete with each other when we all are human beings of planet Earth. And so if we look at that scenario, somewhat like the Matrix kind of scenario, and we think about, you know, at one point we were imbalanced, we were given laws and rules and theories on how to maintain balance, and then we were thrown out of balance. How do we get back in balance? How do we rebuke those extraterrestrial or terrestrial entities that the Most High allowed to manipulate us, forcing us to come together as one? How do we do that?
Well, first of all, I'm going to attempt to do this very carefully. We are all extraterrestrials. We didn't begin here. In fact, it's been proven through quantum physics that you're not really here now. You're traveling through space and time. You're like the TV set, right? So you got your TV set, you got your cable, right? You pay your cable bill, you get 1,000 channels, right? All of a sudden, the TV breaks down. The cable is still on, but your TV's not working, right? So you can't realize the signal, you see? So we're like the TV set, you see? And that signal is traveling through space at 770 billion miles per second. We're traveling on light waves. So we're all extraterrestrial. We're coming from somewhere else. Now we solidified here in this place as these beings that we are now. But there's beings that are from everywhere, from all over, that have been here and been there. And, you know, there's always this contrast. There's always this thing of dark and light, up and down, back and forth, you know, and, you know, just like the deer. The deer, you know, the wolves are looking for deer. The wolves are looking to feed their babies and eat too. You see, so they eat deer, you see? But the main thing is that the deer, in order to survive and thrive, cannot focus on the wolf. I need you to hear me now.
Yeah.
If the deer focuses on wolves, it'll be too nervous, too crazy, too sad, and be a victim and sitting around in meetings talking about what the wolves did, that wolves ate Harry and Jenny. You understand? Bambi got eaten finally. Oh my God, what are we going to do about the wolves? The wolves are going to be wolves. If you focus on the problem, you won't have a solution. So we're all extraterrestrial. Now, some may be for you, some may be against you, some may be parasitic, some may be what? Some ones that are, you know, reciprocal, and it's a conducive relationship for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what do the deer do to thrive?
Okay.
No matter how many deer get eaten, there's more deer every day. You see, for every one deer that gets eaten, it's like 100,000 are born every day. So the first thing the deers do is they make sure they're focused on being strong. They're jumping and practicing, you know what I'm saying? You know, they're lifting up flowers and eating the best, you know, herbs, and they're doing their thing as deer. They're making lots of love. They're having, that's all they do is eat, drink, play, and have sex. If they were worried about the wolf all day, they couldn't do it. They'd be nervous. They'd be, you know, they'd be sitting around the deer TV, you know, watching this, what they're doing, talking about them all day. They don't even think about the wolf until the wolf shows up. If the wolf shows up, they stop. Their heartbeat changes, their eyes, pupils dilate, right? And if the wolf takes one step towards them, they spring into action immediately. They're jumping, they're running. A deer can jump 12 feet over a fence. A deer is actually faster than the wolf. It has more energetic, spring life where it can sprint much faster than the wolf. But the wolves triangulate. It's 2, 3, 4 of them coming from different directions. But the wolf is only focusing on the weak ones. It's only focusing on the old one that's got a lame leg that got caught in a tree hollow and snapped a piece of his hoof. He's limping, or a young one that's like, really not moving that fast, is moved too far away from mama. That's the one the wolves go after. The wolves go after the weak. The wolf don't go after the strong. So what is the solution? You have to be strong in yourself. You have to have a strong condition. You have to have a strong makeup. You have to be ready, willing, and able to spring when the wolf does come. But if you're worried about the wolf every single day and every single moment, you're not going to be able to run from the wolf because you're already paralyzed because you believe the wolf stories. You see, somebody been selling you wolf tickets. See, you bought one. You see, and you keep crying wolf, and the wolf comes, you can't run. You see, because you're too frozen and fearful about what the wolf is doing. The wolf is none of your business. That is not your business. The deer is not concerned about the wolf at all until it shows up. You see, so these beings that showed up on the planet, the original version of us was not worried about them. They over there digging for gold or whatever they're doing. You know what I'm saying? That's not our business until they come over here. Now they come over here, we got an issue. We're going to have to deal with them. But a lot of times today, we're concerned about something that hasn't even happened yet. We're concerned about the stories about what they're doing. That is not your concern. What your concern is to become more of yourself, to handle your business, to make sure you're the CEO, the head of your corporation, to make sure that you're not living in fear, to make sure you're eating foods that are not eating you. You see, eating food that give you energy so that when the wolf does come, you can spring and jump 12 feet, that you can levitate and do magic, so that you can dematerialize, rematerialize at will, so that you can wake up and be ready and willing to live your life right now, How do you do that? You do that by making love out of the things that are not love, You do that by eating the foods that love you, foods that are going to give you energy, What do? Do you worry about what they're doing across the street? That's none of your business. The 6 o'clock news is the 6 o'clock news. It will hang you. They're giving you information. They're giving you free shots and free this and come get this, right? Whenever they're giving you something, there's an issue. Whenever it's a sale on a product in the store, it's been too old. You see some fish, right? And it's all covered with some kind of sauce. You see, and the head is cut off. But guess what? That fish may be old. They put a little baking soda on it, a little bleach, and put that fish back out. Change the sell-by date, because when they give you something cheap, right? They're only giving it to the cheap people. The cheap people are the weak people. They live in the days of the weak. You see, and they live for the weekend. And at the weekend, you get the short end of the stick. Why are you living for the weekend? Why are you living in the days, zombie-like days of the week? And then you get in line for this free stuff and they're on the megaphone. Next, and you walk in like a zombie. Those people we can't help. The original beings, right, have already changed this thing. What we're saying right now, the frequency that's coming across right now at this particular time is the best frequency for us at this time in this moment.
Yes.
The wolves have nothing to do with this. The wolves are worried. Why do you think they're going to these lengths right now? They're doing some stuff right now. It's just blatant. They even telling you they're doing it because the time is up.
Yeah.
They don't have the time. They don't have the soul you have. You as a soul man, a soul woman. So why are you worried about the one without a soul? Why are you worried about people that's selling their soul? How much did you sell your soul for? You know what I'm saying? What did you do? That's what I did in the music business for a while. Was they asked me how much did I want, for my soul, and I sat there and thought about it. Soul. How much? Let me think about that. Luckily, I didn't make the choice a lot of people make. They give them some sneakers and a car and a house and a Lamborghini, right? And a bunch of girls or boys or drugs or whatever you need, right? Sell you some stuff, give you a special sneaker deal, right? And you end up what? They done snuck up on you. That's why they call sneakers. You can't hear them coming. They're not You can't even touch the earth with the sneakers on, right? You can't touch the earth because you got plastic between you and the great mother. You see? So one of the things you can do to remember what the solution is to take your shoes and socks off and put your naked feet on the ground so the mother can talk to you. You feel what I'm saying? If you're not talking to the mother every once in a while, if you're not grabbing a tree every once in a while, if you're not out getting sunlight every once in a while, and you go outside totally naked sometimes, and they told you nudity is illegal. Why? Why is it illegal? Why is it so bad for somebody to see my genitalias? Oh my God, that's terrible. It's illegal. Put you in jail for nudity. No, they're putting you in jail for nudity because if you're out nude, those who have the darkness in their skin are going to be rejuvenated by the sun. And you need to be rejuvenated by the sun on your whole body, not just part of your body. That's not your neck and your arms. You see what I'm saying? That's why some of these religions want you to cover up. That's so that you'll keep coming to church. You go out there and get uncovered sometime, and now the great high, the great most high, the creator, the unified field begins to talk to you and vibrate within you. So the solution is to get back to nature, to get natural and clean out the trash that's in you. The solution right now is to get rid of your parasites. And the solution is to find those pirates in your life, go kill them and burn the ships. Don't just leave the ships. You got to burn those ships so that those old relationships can't keep coming back.
Yeah.
You have to be yourself 100%. You got to redesign. You've got to clean up. You got to clean out. You've got to go inward, you see? And then you've got to find those who are like you.
Yes.
You see, they may not look like what you heard, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I need a man that looks like such and such, that looks like Uncle Harry's brother. He was fine. You know, Uncle Harry's brothers, you know, he was the night stalker. You know, he was fine, but at night he was out stalking. Now you want somebody that looks like him, so you find out your life gets stalked. You see? So a lot of times what we desire in life doesn't look like the fairy tale that you were given. You see? See, you got to be the black sheep. The black sheep jumps over the fence. The black sheep don't care about the farmer. The farmer's coming out, blowing his little whistle and raising his staff. The black sheep, like, who's this fool? What do you want me to do? The black sheep, right? They don't have no melanin. They're just walking up. They don't have no soul. They just get on board. You know, get their hair, the wool shaved off, and, you know, get eaten for dinner and whatever else, get abused. And even sometimes got to go up and visit the farmer at night, because, you know, mama ain't home. That's, like I said, syphilis. But anyway.
So you know, again, looking at the scientific formulas that were used to enslave us or turn us into sheep. And one of those was the William Lynch letter on how to make a slave. I don't think it was just designed for black people on this planet. I think it's a scientific formula for color variations throughout the universe. Anytime a more advanced entity wants to enslave a less advanced or low technological developed agencies. And so one of the things that you know, I've been focusing on is bridging the gap between our generation and the younger generations. How do we, you know, something happened with our generation and the structure we had with our parents, and, you know, kids born in the 40s and the 50s, you know, and then the transition that happened in the 60s where we thought were going to be accepted, and moving into a direction of, you know, deserting our culture. And something happened with how we treated our kids, the structure. And so now there's a disconnect. So you take into consideration the William Lynch letter, which was designed to break down the social structure of a culture, turn the old against the young, the house slaves against the field slaves, the light-skinned slaves against the dark-skinned slaves. And, you know, I still think that program can be used whether you're on another solar system and people are green. It'd be the light green skinned people versus the dark green skinned people. You know, I think it's applicable either way. And the burden is for us to overcome that and understand the balance. But the point I'm getting at, you know, particularly, that my son and I always, we're not battling with it, but we have these discussions constantly. What do we do, our generation to his generation, in terms of getting them on point? Because, you know, the respect for their elders, they don't have it. I mean, because basically what they're saying to us is, you know, how come the other cultures, they have banks and education, institutions of education with the truth, and you know, so how do we fix that problem with this gap? And then my son, he's here, and he's going to follow up with a question as well.
First of all, I'm gonna tell you the big difference between the generation that you're talking about and the younger generation. You ready for this? Close your eyes I'm gonna close your eyes for a second. Go back. Keep your eyes closed, Brenda.
Okay.
What do you see is different? It's called whippings. Whippings. If we got out of line, we'd get whipped. The neighbor, I got whipped by the neighbor. The neighbor whooped me, brought me home, told my mother that she whooped me. My mother whooped me. Then my mother told my father whooped me. I got whooped 3 times. So guess what? I had respect because I was afraid to get the whipping. You understand what I'm saying? So at some point they said, get rid of the whippings. Whippings are illegal. We'll do that. The government will whip you. Well, wait a minute. It ain't illegal. It's legal for your parents to keep you in line, right? But it's not illegal for the government to do it. So it actually helps them because they get more free labor. You know what I'm saying? Down at the prison camp. So, you know, we had it was a different time, a different space. We were in a different place in space, you see? And things even when my parents were young, they said jazz music was illegal. That was considered bad. That was, you know, that was sex. Jazz, the word jazz means sex or jazzing from the jasmine flower. The word jazz has to do with sex. That's why the saxophone was the sexophone. You see, it was male and female. It had a hole and it had a phallus. You see, jazz, that music was, it was bad. It was a bad influence and the young people were into it. You know, as my mother said, they was out there listening to that jazz and music and smoking them reefers. You see what I'm saying? And having too much whiskey. You see? But that was like the youth thing. They thought the world was going to come to an end. But it didn't because things evolved. So today it's the same thing. Whatever they're doing now, the older generation may look at it and say it's bad, it's not good, but we were into some stuff too. In fact, we was into some stuff even a little deeper than what they into right now. And this wasn't on the internet. This wasn't on Facebook and Instagram and Instagram and all the rest of that potato chips, graham crackers, and you know what I'm saying? We were into some deep stuff. And our parents and their parents was into some deep stuff out in the woods and in the hay and in the barn.
Yeah.
You see? So so my thing is the language. Right now is the perfect time. The youth are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're expanding. Now, the difference is that it gets a little wild because a lot of what the youth is doing has been controlled. It's been controlled by the parasite, the wolves.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You call it the hamster wheel.
It's the hamster wheel. It's like what we call living in TikTok. You know, not the app called TikTok, but living in time. Whatever controls your time controls your mind. And right now, what controls people's time is their phone. You see, the phone. You see, these social media is controlling and consuming their time. You see, and they think that that's the news. This is real. You know, I just saw where some youth did this robbery, right, and got away with it. They went, you know what I'm saying? They robbed from the rich and gave to the poor and put it on the internet. Well, guess what? When they got back home, the FBI, the CIA, the AFI, and all the three little organizations was sitting down there on their porch and took them to jail. They didn't even have a trial because it was you did it. It's on the net. You put it on the internet.
Captured it on film.
Imagine the Black Panthers was on, telling them about their secret meetings and all that stuff, where it was going to be, and had it on, Facebook. and Zuckerberg and them is, you know what I'm saying? They know about it. So what I'm saying is the difference is that we're going through a great change. We're going through a renaissance. And what we have to do is merge with the youth. You see, it's just like, it's beautiful to see brothers like you, Andre, and your son working together, bridging the gap. We got to bridge the gap. Most of the youth are gone. You can't help them. Leave them alone. 85% of the people are done, fried, crispy bacon. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing you could do. 85%. And we're not trying to raise them from the dead. They have to realize themselves that they're dead and decide to live. But if they've joined Zombie Nation, right? Zombie Nation that's where it's cracking at, man. You know what I'm saying? To be dumb and to be stupider and dumber than dumb. You know, isn't it a movie, Dumber Than Dumb? But you know, the blind leaving the dumb leaving the breathless and the lifeless. We have to focus on those who are ready to elevate. There's people ready to elevate. There's people listening to this program right now saying, yes, I'm ready.
Ready.
But if we look at how bad it is and we look at the problems, we can't have as many solutions. So we should move the problems to down maybe 20% of the talk. Problems. Let the 80% of the talk be what? Solutions. You see, let 20% of your time, effort, and energy create 80% of your life outcome. Do you understand what I'm saying? You really only want to, create or work 20% of the time. 80% of the time, you need to be chilling. That's the 80-20 plan.
Absolutely.
I like
it.
it.
10% of the people, right, or these beings are controlling things. They got it cracking. There's nothing you're going to be able to do, bro, because they this thing deep. They got you chipped up. They got food. They got nanoparticles in your food. You know what I'm saying? People are eating Franken foods, non-foods, never been foods. People are eating industrial waste and enjoying it, smacking on it, walking right in the store, paying their money for it. They even ask you at the counter, you sure you got everything you need? You look in your what is this I'm eating? Read the back of it. What does it say? You know, what is all those ingredients to get you this what? Falsified flavor. Most of the flavors are enhanced and created, and the smells and everything they create it because the people that are eating it are not real people anymore. They're artificial intelligence, and then you have artificial ignorance. You see? So if the people are not awake, there's not much you're going to be able to do right now unless they get a sense and they hear the call and they watch a program like this, or they read something, they hear something, might even be in a post. There's some deep stuff being posted on Facebook and Instagram. Some deep stuff. It could be one message with 3 words that could change your life. You see? But the person has to be ready. We can't go out and hunt them. You see? They have to be ready to come. And then we can't keep giving them fish. We got to give them a pole, give them a hook, show them how to put the bait on that hook so they can fish for themselves.
Yeah.
You see? Now, 5% of the people are awake. You only need a few people to be totally awake. And you only need a 1% of that to actually do something, because a lot of people are conscious. They're conscious. That's the big thing. Oh, who's conscious? Well, everybody's conscious. Even the devil is conscious. He knows he's the devil. What are you saying? You know what I'm saying? They're conscious. Everybody. So the word gets funny.
Yeah. What
we have to be is awake, enlightened, and endarkened. We have to be ready to do the work and go through the pain and go through the struggle and the challenge of changing your life. I tell people not to. I remember when I was told, to stop eating chicken. I said, okay, I can do it. I got it. I was at the lecture. I was up front clapping. Oh boy, I'm not eating no more chicken. The next couple of days, I go to the grocery store. I'm not eating chicken. I'm over in the greens aisle getting bell peppers and all this kind of stuff. And they come on that speaker. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a sale over there with the chicken wings, 150 chicken wings for 59 cents. And if you buy the chicken now, get the club card, you get the club immediately. I said, I'm not going to eat that chicken. I'm not going to eat that chicken. But my inside, something kept saying, you're going to get you some chicken. You know you love chicken. You love chicken wings. You know how to broast chicken, fried chicken. You buy special chicken spices, right? And for some reason, I'm leaving the store with my greens, and I happen to walk by the chicken aisle. They got platters of chicken. People is over there, and I'm seeing all the people buying the chicken. They fighting for chicken. So my subconscious mind says, if they fighting for chicken, it must be good. Must be good. So what do? My hand reaches and grabs the small pack of chicken wings. It's, just 24. It's less chicken wings. And I go home and I eat them. And I notice there's little holes in them and little purple spots on the wings. And I start looking at them. And I find out that those holes is where they inject the hormones in the chicken to make the chicken grow. Chicken grow a couple days, they're huge, they're grown, So it's not even a chicken anymore, it's a chickant. You see what I'm saying? Woo!
Yeah.
So what we have to do is realize that we need the young and the youth to come together at a certain level, those who are ready. You see what I'm saying? Those beings that are attempting to use your energy, if you're vibrating at the right rate, if you live in the right rate, if you got the right talk, the right, if you're making love out of the things that are not love in your life, if you're doing alchemy, if you're switching up, if you're minding your business, if you're keeping your mouth closed and only speaking words that actually have power instead of using the language of disempowerment, right? If you're walking with powerful people.
Yes.
The rule of thumb is if you like to be successful, you're going to have to get on the road to the place called success with other people that are on that road too, or congregate with people that are already successful. Why would you be hanging out with losers? You're talking about you want to be a winner.
Yeah.
Why? What? Half the people you know are losers. You're the only one in the room that's winning, but you don't know you're winning because your mind has been usurped by parasites like toxoplasma. You see, so to go back, what they're doing with the Willie Lynch letter is they're dividing people. Light, dark, tall, short. You see what I'm saying? All these differences, right? That causes cognitive dissonance in the brain, you see? And look that up, cognitive dissonance. Then also they create competition. You see, what was the big thing in Rome? It was all about competition. It was always playing with balls. You know what I'm saying? Who could throw the ball better? And you know what I'm saying? And most of that stuff, they was, if you want to get into the Roman thing, you get to the root of how things really got deep. They didn't like women, so I don't know what's going on.
Gladiators.
The gladiator, they was happy. See, gladiator, they was men, only men in the nude. You see what I'm saying? And putting feces all over themselves and then wrestling. I mean, come on, man. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah.
But it was all about competition. I have no competition. Dr. B Sirius has no competition. Dr. B, you ought to change your website. What you ought to do so that you could, I don't need to do nothing. The universe tells me what to do. You see what I'm saying? You don't tell me this because you think, you could be making a lot more money. You could be as big as blah, 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 blah. And how come blah, 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 blah was on the Auntie Oakley show? You see what I'm saying? Who's Auntie Oakley? Well, you need to be on there, Dr. B, because I think we have to know that we are not competition. We are not being competition for ourselves. We can't we can't be incompetent. You have to be a winner each day in your own self. If you're taking a breath, you're winning. If you're on this program, you're winning. If you got the youth and if you got 3 different generations of people in a room and they're all talking about one thing together, right? It's going to be high spirited. It's going to be some disagreement, but we don't have to compete. You see? So we're always in competition and creating division. You see, all they got to do is keep pushing that on you. If you look up sexy Caucasian woman, Google that, images, see what comes up. Then Google sexy Black woman images. It's going to blow your mind. Now, who wrote that program? Who created that? That's Willie Lynch, create differences. You see what I'm saying? The sexy Black woman, she's on a pole, she's naked or half naked, she's doing some gyrations and all that, right? Which is okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually life, if that's what you like to do, nothing wrong with it. But then you show me the sexy white woman. She's got a briefcase, she's got a business. You see what I'm saying? She looks a certain way. She has a certain image that's been given to you by the television. Image of what you need to look like. That's why you got to go get, that's why people will go down there and get their hair glued. You see what I'm saying? Get eyelashes glued, get butts glued on, breasts glued on. There's men that got all kind of stuff that they inject to make them look like such and such. Then at night they get deflated. You see, and you find out what you really got. So the real thing is finding out, who are you? Are you in division? Are you divided within yourself? Do you have a part of you that is in destruction right? The saboteur inside of you. And you got the winner, the survivalist. You're a winner. You had to be a winner. How many sperms was going after that egg?
Yeah.
Do you know what the sperms? You know sperms? Do you have any idea? You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, millions and millions of sperms. And they're all working on getting to that egg. Now, they're actually not moving towards the egg. The egg is attracting. The egg magnetically attracts one sperm. Now, men told it differently. The Romans said, no. What it is the sperm is competing to get to the egg, and the sperm is making the difference. No, it's the feminine that is attracting one particular sperm.
Absolutely.
Because they know that sperm, that spark is a winner, and it created you. And what you had to going from very few cells to a zygote and be created in your mother's womb was almost impossible. But then you were born, you were manifest. You see what I'm saying? You were born in sin. What does that mean? You was born into a family that was sinners. Well, what is a sinner? A sin is an archery term, which means to miss the mark. Your family was missing the mark. They was praying and shaking and begging for things. Oh, Lord, instead of being grateful for in advance. You don't beg during prayer. But see, the people who've given you the books and giving you the talk and giving you the beliefs are creating division from within your own original self. Your original self knows what's right. You see, but you was taught to be wrong, right? But you get to a point where you get to move through all that and take all the trash in your life and turn it into treasure. You can't blame the wolves and blame the corporations and what they did, and the reptilians and the reptilians and the wolf people. Look, Wolfman and Dracula are gonna be there. Who are you gonna be? You got to be right at this particular time. You got to be everything you were ever going to be. You can't wonder if your immune system is strong. First of all, you better eat foods that boost your immune system. You got to get rid of your parasites. You got to make sure you got vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin L, which is vitamin love, in your life.
And become a goddess queen.
Or whatever it is you desire, you got to beat it. You can't be trying to beat it. I'm thinking about becoming a. You got to eat something natural. You got to take your shoes and socks off every once in a while. And you got to find somebody that you can co-create with.
Yeah.
Who can you co-create with? That's how Willie Lynch, right, loses the letter. Yes. Willie Lynch can't find it. It's been shredded in your life. You see? So the youth, all of us, must come together. The youth called me the other day and asked me to speak on their record. Some singers, this artist named Omarion. He was from this group, B2K. They're young. They said, Dr. B, we'd like you to do the intro to our record. I'm like, really? Okay. And the talk that I'm talking about is, it's about coming back around, finding out, how what you put out in the world comes back to you. So I dropped this one little piece and their minds are blown. I only say a few words and they're like, oh my God, it's the deepest thing in the world. Sometimes just the simplest thing, right, will wake folks up, right? But if they don't wake up, you can't miss the train trying to drag them on the train.
Yeah, that's it.
You're wasting your time, effort, and energy. You see? So right now, we are the ones. It's about us right now. It's the signal that's happening right now. You see? I don't know if I've answered your question. Usually I'm starting to feel like Dick Gregory. And I remember he did never really answer no questions.
So we're good because, now what I wanted, one of the things that I did, particularly the relationship with my son and I, is I had no apprehensions of him having experiences and learning from other elder men in the community. And so the conversation, is basically, he and I have had the conversation, but other elders like yourself, the exchange between our generation and his generation, from different perspectives, and especially both of you are Capricorns, it'd be interesting to see. He's going to hit you with a question from his generation. Let's see how we're doing in bridging the gap.
Well, let me say something first. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on, Dr. B. Sirius. I ain't get a chance to say that all show. All right. That's all good. And what I'm gonna ask you is, in so many words, you technically already answered it in so many ways. But I want to convey the question pretty much on behalf of my generation in a way that my generation should ask the question, right? But first, you gave us a lot of insight into parasitism and the concept of parasitism. And so I just want to piggyback off of that as well. You know, what am I? So Pop said I'm a fourth generation astrologer, but I'll put it out there as a third, whatever have you. So me studying the science and the sacred geometry and movement of astronomy gave me a lot of insight into the type of energy levels on different time cycles, basically. That's pretty much all astrology is the measurement of movement in time. And saying all that to say this, what I end up coming to the conclusion on based on astrological ages is that I'll say for the last 4,000 years, we've been at a very low point on this planet. We've been in somewhat of an iron age, which is a very, low conductive state. And I think you've hinted to this, but we also have been in the age of Pisces and moving into an age of Aquarius. Now, coming out of this very low iron age, also into the age of Aquarius, like you say, this is a point where we begin to heal ourselves from this low vibration where a lot of parasitic energy has been allowed to just run amok, right? So as we're coming into this ascension phase, this upswing of energy at the minimum on a solar system level, at the minimum, a lot of people are ascending, and like you said, there's a lot of people who just ain't gonna catch this train. Mm-hmm. A lot of, like you say, they burnt bacon, and it's not our job to be trying to resurrect, slow down the train, and miss our mark by waiting on people who are potentially going to be tardy. But in my generation, and I'm sure you've noticed this, that there's a lot of people, a lot of my generation, and especially even the ones that are younger than me, who are they're coming along and spiritually ascending fairly quickly. But at this point, I would be almost one of the bigger brothers in my generation right now, because I'm 35, heading up to 40, and practically everybody who are young adults are a little bit younger than me now. They're anywhere from 20 to 25 and 30 years old, whatever have you. And I'm watching them very intently, and I see them ascending mentally and spiritually, but they don't have an urgency on how on what kind of plan we're going to implement on coming together on a mundane and physical level, which is going to allow us to sustain for another, let's say, sustain harmoniously for the next, let's say, 100 to 200 years. So I'm actually asking all of you, forgive me for saying it, I'm the only term I can think of is elders right now. Remind me, I respect all the gray hairs on everybody's head in here. But asking you, Dr. B, what do you recommend to our youth as far as coming together in this economic system, and what steps do we need to take as far as community? And well, as a matter of fact, let me be more specific. When it comes to the old ways of living, the way y'all used to live, the communities y'all used to have, well, like you say, you would get whooped by your neighbor. We ain't got that no more. That's facts. I'm probably the last generation of Mohicans who even seen something close to that. But now, communities are completely fractured. So what do you recommend that we get back to those very close-knit communities? So while we're ascending, while we now have this spiritual information, now we can harness that in a close-knit incubator. I know that's a lot of words, but is that something that you recommend?
You see, this is what I'm talking about these youth. Because what he's talking about is a whole show. In fact, we should do that.
Yeah,
We
indeed.
should do a whole show, just me and you, bro.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
your daddy. You need to listen to your son. Now, first of all, your son, I can tell, has a professional microphone. He's got special acoustics. He's got a preamplifier and a mixer hooked up. Yep.
Yes, he does.
He's really doing this. Now, Daddy, you just in the room by the couch. Your voice is echoing. See, the son knows how to use the technology of today to get the best out of it. So when he speaks, he's up close on the mic. He sounds like, you know what I'm saying? He's a broadcast master. You see what I'm saying? So the youth knows how to use the new technology. You see, they can take the old and the new and blend it together. And what the older generations can give to the younger generations, right, is the wisdom, the knowledge to use the new technology. So we have to come together. So thank you very much for having that beautiful microphone. I got to go get me one. We got to talk because I can hear you. Like, see, I'm a recording engineer, so I can tell by his voice. He's right up on the mic. You know, he's got a pop filter and all of those things. See, Daddy's just in there with his computer on. You see what I'm saying? But it's okay. It's all right. We got to work together. So we, at this particular time, have to stop saying what everybody's doing. Because it's not true that the youth are this way and the old are that way and it's this way today. It's not true. It's just not broadcast. The people, there are youth right now doing powerful, incredible things right now as we speak.
Yeah.
They're coming together in special meetings, dropping science, reading books, watching this show, who are ready and willing. You see? So the gap is being bridged. It's happening now. Yes. We have to put the energy out and crystallize that. That's what Christ means, crystallize the imagination, that there are youth that are born awoke. There's children born knowing all the knowledge. These are the crystal children now. The crystal children know all the information from all the generations. They know it all. They're crystallized. You can't really teach them. I don't even know why you got them in school talking about he's autistic. You ain't saying nothing, so why you got to say something to you? You ain't talking about it.
Exactly.
Pull out a piano and he's playing Mozart, James Brown, and Prince all at the same time in the same song. Pulling out a map, he knows the distance of everything. He knows the sacred geometry, but you want him to talk to you about what? What do you want him to talk? Well, he's artistic. Well, so wasn't Mozart. You see what I'm saying? So wasn't a lot of folks that were very successful. They didn't talk. So we have to first get the language of empowerment. I would like to thank all the youth who are ready, willing, and able and doing the work right now. But I will say it's been a challenge because when you look at the great calendar, the sidereal day, this is the sidereal day, which means star day, right? Sirius, like Sirius means star. Sidr, like to consider, right? Means to let the star energy give you information. That's why you say, well, let me take it into consideration. And you sleep overnight and the star energy hits you and you give the answer the next day. Don't be answering so quickly. Take your time. Shut up. Tell them I'll get back with you on that. But we need to know now. I need to take this into consideration so I'll make the proper choice. In this 26,000 year calendar, right? For when we're up here, when our planet, let's make this little circle here. This is our solar system. When we're leaning towards the center of the galaxy called Hanab-Ku, right? We know everything. We're not taught. Everybody is connected energetically and electrically, right? Consciousnesses are one. We're in oneness, right? We can levitate, you know, we communicate telepathically when we're up here. But when we start leaning away from the center of the galaxy,
absolutely,
means, right? On this cycle, this grand cycle, on this 26,000 years calendar, please look that up. The 26,000 year calendar, which is the most accurate calendar there is, it actually, right, goes through these phases. Every 2,000 years, it goes through phases. So for the last 6,000 years, we've been at the furthest point from the center of the galaxy.
Absolutely.
So the center of the galaxy, the radio station, the great radio station. You've been down here and you can't really get the songs really good. You know what I'm saying? Earth, Wind, and Fire is playing, and you could tell that it is Earth, Wind, and Fire, but it's going in and out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, because you're far away from the radio station, so people can't get the messages good. So for this 6,000 year period, the Iron Age, the prophets came. These were people who were still connected. They didn't need an antenna. You see what I'm saying? They were the antenna. You see, and for 6,000 years, those guides came to teach us, to help us. You see, and now we're out of the Iron Age. We're actually way over here. We're moving back towards the center of the galaxy.
Absolutely.
So we're awakening now, or springtime. We're in the springtime, right? This is not of the season on Earth. This is the season in the galaxy. We're waking up, springing forward, moving back towards the center of the galaxy when we're one again. Over here, we were at the fall of man. You see, we fell. And it happens because we are our planet is leaning away from the center of the galaxy. So the radio station, the message isn't as clear. So people get a little crazy. They start losing their minds and they're drifting. You see what I'm saying? But then we wake back up. But you got to go through the 4 seasons, right? To make life expand itself. You see? So right now we're at this place. Some people call it Kali Yuga. It has many different names. Where we're moving back towards the center of the galaxy and we're out of the Iron Age. The challenge here is that we still were taught from a time of the Iron Age when it was all about competition, when it was all about Willie Lynch and fighting and division and slavery and usury and parasitism and pirates. You see, we're actually out of that. But we still have the dust particles and some of the swamp water on us. You know what I'm saying? We still got the saliva of the wolves on the back of our necks that almost caught us. But we're out. You have to know you're out. You got to realize and crystallize we're out. We have been liberated. But our mindset was created during the Iron Age, and you still got rust. Huh? You got rust around your brain, huh? You got rust in your arteries, huh? You got rust in your cellular material, huh? And right now, because we're at this new point, guess what's happening? You got another strand of DNA that's coming online that they call junk DNA, huh? Yep. That DNA, that other strand of DNA connects you to everything. You see, it goes to sleep. Your DNA goes to sleep and wakes up with the grand cycle. It's part of the plan. The beings that came, you can call them reptilians or whatever you want to call them, the evil ones, they only could come at a time when we were far away from ourselves.
Absolutely.
They can only slip in at a time when you kind of, you're rusty. You're waiting. You know what I'm saying? You're watching the television, letting them tell you. You listen to Walter Cronkite. He's telling you, and that's the way it is. That ain't the way it is. He got on a what is that suit he would have on? What's the jacket?
Letterman jacket.
He would have on this jacket, right, that you only wear in the wintertime, and he's saying he's in Vietnam. It's 140 degrees. Yeah, I'm in Vietnam right now. No, this is a blue screen. Back in the day, he's up in Hollywood with fake plastic palm trees on a movie set, but you believe him because his voice is deep, and he's got that voice, and that's the way it is. And see, the news is the news, and we believe it. And see, now the people become the news. The people got taught. Why? I don't care nothing about somebody got sneakers with some reptilian blood in them. What they got to do with me? You see, but it causes you to drift. And when you drift, right? When you drift, you can't ever, get back on path. You got to outwit the devil in you, huh? You can't drift off your path. You have to have a path, a dial, no matter what they say, no matter how you test it. Because if you stay focused, because of where we are in the universe, huh? The universe will help you. Now, one more thing. I was told by Dick Gregory, I was told by Chief Little Bear and Dr. Ando that right around the year 2020, we will be challenged the most. I was told this many years ago.
I remember Dick Gregory saying that.
Why? Because right now we're in this cloud. There's a cloud in the middle of this calendar that our planet goes through, our whole solar system, called what? The photon band. Mm-hmm. It's a cloud. It's a cloud of little light creatures. They're light. They're called biophotons. They're living little light creatures. They feed your DNA and give your DNA information. Every, 13,000 years, we go through this cloud and we wake up because we get new information. It begins to program your DNA. You start getting a new upload and a download, you see? But if you're still asleep because you're rusty, you can't be crystallized, you see? Because you're rusty, because you still got iron dust on you and particles from all the competition and warring and fighting and division that happened down in this 6,000 year period. So now you're still sometimes remembering what it was like. Your parents may have trained you based on what they learned, down there fighting. You know, it was all about, look at the language that most parents had. How was a struggle? It's going to be a struggle to get a job. It's going to be a struggle to keep your virginity. It's going to be a struggle to get a husband or a wife. It's going to be a struggle to stay with faith. It's going to be a struggle, and you got to watch out for the wolves. See, the wolves is coming after you. It was the language of struggle. It was going to be painful. You see what I'm saying? That's the language. That's the sinner in the parents. They learned that language based on what they conceived was slavery. Because some folks didn't never go through slavery. Most Black folks was not slaves.
Exactly.
They was here. What are you talking about? The land, we ain't from Africa. Oops, did I say that?
Say that's a whole another show right there too.
Let me just hit it real quick. We're from everywhere. This land is our land. All of it.
All of it is.
Wherever I go, they got pyramids and mounds right here. Come on, they got so many pyramids and mounds. Did you know Atlanta is a gigantic mound that sits on the 33rd degree? Check out the 33rd parallel. You want to do some studying.
Okay.
Check out the 33rd parallel on the planet. It's a line that goes around the earth. All the most powerful stuff, the most metaphysical, magical stuff happens on the 33rd degree. Atlanta's right on it. You see what I'm saying? And it's 1,000 feet above sea level. It's the only city east of the Rocky Mountains that is 1,000 feet above sea level. So it has a different energy. But if you don't know it and you can't crystallize and you sit around complaining about all the problems that you got, then you're living in the Iron Age. So what can we do? We got to realize that we are now crystallizing our imagination. Whatever you're imagining, you can crystallize and make it happen. But you got to cleanse your body. You gotta study and show thyself approved, huh? You gotta know thyself, huh? You gotta recreate yourself, huh? You gotta be the person that you came here to be without talking so much about the problems. Get to the solution. The solution right now is to involve yourself, right? And be around the people or the beings, or just by yourself if you need to, right? And crystallize what you would like to create in life. What would you like?
Yes.
A lot of my clients would come and sit on my couch. And I did this for many years. I had clients come sitting on my couch in my office. Do you know I've only heard one story? 30 years of sitting on the couch listening to folks, I've only heard one story. I caught, they gave me, I was this. It was all about victim. I'm a victim. And my genes. People is a victim of their genes? You bought the genes. You're programming your genes with your thoughts. You see what I'm saying? But it started with Santa Claus, huh? And it started with the tooth fairies can come in through your wall and just take money, take teeth and leave you some money. You see, the parents gave you this stuff, these nursery rhymes. You know, she's rocking the cradle on the treetop. Then the cradle falls and the baby drops, or whatever the song. What the heck is this about? You singing that to the child? Who gave you those nursery rhymes? You said, in these cartoons, cars, spirit tunes, spirit songs, controlling the child. All the cartoons used to be fighting. You wonder why the child is violent. You see? So what you have to do now is become peaceful in yourself by making yourself whole. By reconstituting or reformulate yourself. Today, if you can work on just thinking of what you desire for me, instead of telling me, I said, well, what would you like? Well, Dr. B, I don't want to have aches and pains. I don't want to have cancer. I don't want to have diabetes. Well, you just told your subconscious that's what you desire. You see, your subconscious is listening to you. The universe is listening to you. You are sending out a message and you're saying, I don't want. Subconscious don't know what that means. I don't want. You just mentioned the thing that has power, cancer, diabetes. And the cellular structure says, hey, you heard what she said, diabetes, diabetes. And all of a sudden the pancreas starts working funny and, you know, the rhythm gets off because you keep mentioning the dis-ease. If you say, I'd like to be healthy and be on the beach in Tampa, Florida. Y'all got a beach, right? I'd like to be on the beach, just lay out and just take in the sun. You see, I'd like to, you know, to mention exactly what you would like. That's the opposite of what you don't like. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying the youth are coming together. There are people right now, more people have become vegetarians in the last year than ever in history. More people are taking herbs and cleansing and detoxing than ever in history. The wellness industry is a $45 billion industry. It's $1 billion or $1 trillion. See, I get funny when you get up to billions and trillions. That my tongue gets funny because I'm not used to using that. I can't even imagine what would I do with that money. That might make me crazy. When I was a millionaire, I was crazy as heck. I was a nut with all that money. I used to get special lobsters wrapped in gold foil that was brought in from Maine, still flipping around. You know what I'm saying? I was nuts.
May I ask a question, King?
Right, calm down. Breathe, Dr. B. Hold on. Let me get my bells.
Okay.
Before you ask your question, hold on. Breathe, everybody. Breathe for a second.
Breathe. It's on your CD, indeed.
Usa.
It's the youth. I'm trying to tell you that man, you put your son on me, see? You knew this was gonna happen. You should have told me I'm gonna put my son on you. Woo! Thank you very much.
Dr. B, I witnessed you at a hotel workshop in Los Angeles do levitation. What I witnessed and what my question to you is, how did you do it, first of all? But I watched you very intently. What you did, you brought a chair to the stand and you asked 4 people to come and sit at the 4 corners of this chair. And then you ask for someone to come and sit in the chair that weighed at least 180 pounds. And so we had the person sit in the chair. You had 4 people at the 4 corners of the chair. And there was an older woman there. You asked her, did she have any kind of illness in her body? She said, yes. You said to her, we cannot use your energy, so just stand over here to the side. And you brought in someone else to take her place. Then you did something with the energy because you walked around the room and you made some changes, like my hands are moving. And then you ask all of us to say, he's as light as a feather. We all had to repeat that. He's as light as a feather. And the 4 people placed their index finger right under the chair of the man that's sitting there. And then at some point, they all lifted him up with just their index fingers. How did you do that?
I didn't do it. Did you just say they did it? They did
You
it.
made it happen, though. The energy.
No.
Okay.
Let me correct you.
Okay.
All I do is show you the door. You must walk through. We all have the power.
Yeah.
To elevate, to levitate, to dictate, to recreate. We have the power. All I did was put the people in a mind state where they could get out of their old mind and crystallize the desire. I told them what it was. And we first tried it without me taking the folks through this process. Mm-hmm. There's no way in the world you can lift, 4 people can lift 100. Actually, it was more like 2 something, remember? Mm-hmm. 180. The guy came and said, well, that was before, and I ate a whole turkey for so I might have took on a few pounds. But anyway, and we had to take off the watches. You got to take off your watch because it's watching you, it's timing you, it's ticking you into your pulse, and it's changing your heart rate. So we got to get rid of the watch, right? So it was impossible to lift at first. They were struggling, they couldn't do it.
Right.
That's when we began to create a vortex. And I began to do that energy. You see what I'm saying? And connect all the energy of the people in the circle, creating a spiral, and then put everybody in the room in the spiral and crystallize your imagination to say he's as light as a feather. He's as light as a feather. Then, it's a whole process. But the people already had it in them to do it because everything in the universe is made of the same stuff. Subatomic particles. He's not heavy. It's only the idea in your head that he's heavy. That's your fault. You made him heavy. You see what I'm saying? You made yourself sick. You made yourself crazy. You created the alcoholic, the drug person, or whatever it is. You create it, but you also create wealth. You create everything in your mind. You create a state of wholeness, a state of beauty in your mind. You're creating it. You're very creative. You're very artistic. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we're all creative. And what I did was help the folks guide themselves to their original selves. We created a pole from the Father Sky to Mother Earth that shot down through their head. We had to what? We had to break the dam in their gut. You see, inside you, in your vagus nerve, you create a dam. See, energy flows through the top of your head and out through your feet into Mother Earth. So Father Sky is constantly having a sexual intercourse with Mother Earth through you and through the trees and all the beings. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in order for the Father, he can't have on no condom, then he's condemned.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The condom sometimes is the dam that you've created in your heart because you was hurt. You're sad. I'm black. I'm ugly. I'm this. So you're damming up God. So now you got damned. You see what I'm saying? Huh? You got on a condom. See? Just tear that sucker off and go on and get busy because you ain't going to be here forever anyway. You see what I'm saying? Because you worry about what you're going to catch. You done already caught it in your mind. So you see what I'm saying? Who's selling condoms? You see the Trojan horse people. You see? You know the story is a trick. They snuck out at night, hid up in the horse, and killed all the people. And so you got to get rid of the dam in you. You got to get ungoddamned. Huh? And you got to break the dam. So that's what we did with that thing, with that technique, was we broke the dam. You see? So the people had an orgasm. Huh? The people came into themselves and arrived at their original self. See? You got to come all over yourself. You got to arrive in yourself. You see? This is an intimate thing, but it's also a physical, mental, and spiritual, metaphysical thing. So what we did was let the people crystallize their imagination, and we said they're light as a feather. And when those people, you remember, at first, they were still struggling. They started lifting up, and the people got scared. You see? It scared them. And they started shaking and shivering. I said, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
So I told one of the ladies to get behind me.
You
I told her to put her hand on my shoulder.
That's right.
I said, I want you to imagine that you're connecting through me to this person. And I got in the circle.
Yeah.
And I looked at everybody in the eyes. He's as light as a feather. And then that Gregory looked. Don't you mess with me up in here because this could look bad at the show. You see what I'm saying? You see? And what happened? We said it again. He's as light as a feather. He's as light as a feather. And he floated. It was almost as if the people's fingers weren't touching him. And you remember, he stayed there.
Yes.
People broke out crying.
Yeah.
People were crying because they couldn't believe that this was possible. How 4 people with each finger, 2 little fingers, could lift that man. But guess what? That's what you're doing with your life. It's almost impossible to create cancer. Do you know what you're doing to create cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure? Huh? Do you know what you have to do to catch the coronavirus? You got to do it. Based on what? Based on what you don't think you have. Based on this disempowering information. Based on you not realizing that we're this place in the universe. What the young man, he was breaking some stuff down because he started talking about the geometry, the sacred geometry. We are sacred geometry. And we're part of a whole system. You see, the suns, the moons, the stars, the way they move, everything spirals. It's a spirituality.
Yeah.
It's an orchestra. It's all sound, frequency, revelations, vibrations, and rhythms happening. I'm a drummer. I'm a musician. I'm an engineer. I'm a producer. And the way I was able to make those hit records was I put sacred geometry in the music. There's certain rhythms you could play in, and at a certain time, right, you hit certain notes and people begin to move automatically. But at the same time, there's other frequencies and sounds that you're hearing, like Pavlov's dog, they ring the bell and he salivates. They got stuff that they're doing, the wolves are doing, the parasites are doing, that you got to get rid of. So once you cleanse and detoxify, you begin to levitate your life. But it takes time, and you have to have patience. You can't expect people, like a lot of my conscious teachers, they get mad. They're cussing the audience out, and they're mad a lot, and they're yelling at the people and blaming them. I mean, you can't blame me for buying that chicken. It was on sale. Do you know what that means? It's on sale, and I had a club card that was hitting me over my head. The lady asked me, she says, "Why you only buying a 48 pack? Did you know you could have got 3 of these?" What did I do? I got out of line. Down there. My collard greens in another cart. People saying, "Somebody left some collard greens over here." I done forgot the collard greens because my mind says I need chicken wings. Why do I need chicken wings, huh? Because I have become domesticated. I have become man-made. Like a chicken is not natural. That's a crossbreed between a jungle fowl and a vulture. It was made by the Chinese in 1507. It never existed. You don't see no white chicken running around in the woods. Natural, there's no natural white chicken. You see, they don't exist. The same thing with a cow, a buffalo, and an oxen crossed together. You see, they used to call them beefalos. You see, and what is a pig? The little pink pig is a cat, a rat, a dog, all blended together through grafting. They've been doing this a long time. It's not new. So you eat that. You're consuming, right, these foods that are man-made. So you become a consumer and become consumed. I was consumed with chicken wings. Do you know what kind of seasonings I could put on a chicken wing? Do you understand what I'm saying? What I can do with a chicken wing? But I found out later I could do that same thing with mushrooms, huh? I found out I could do that same thing with other foods and live. But what I'm trying to what I'm attempting, what I'm giving you, cancel, cut, delete, quit. What I'm giving you is a chance to get off the farm by crystallizing where we are, who we are. You're doing a levitation. Your blood vessels, if you took them all and took them out of the body and put them in the end, they would wrap around the world 4 times. Do you know that your blood travels throughout your whole body in anywhere from 17 seconds to 1 minute? It goes from your heart all the way around your body and comes back. That means your heart has the power to pump blood around the world 4 times and come back to you. Science can't explain that. They can't explain it.
So
you understand what I'm saying?
I got you. I've been listening to you and learning. Yes,
God
indeed.
is doing some things that you can't do until you become God. Until you realize that there's a miracle happening every day. Until you realize
I know.
that you are the miracle.
I am the miracle.
Yeah. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Can I get a
Amen.
I'm
in the rock. There we go.
They took the ancient book of Willie out of the Bible because see, Willie was an alcoholic, and Willie had a lot of information because he was full of spirits, and Willie was given information that was so good the black coats came and got him, the black helicopters came and got him, and they had to take him away because Willie was freeing people. See, but you gotta be Willie, you got to be Mary, and you can't come tumbling down the hill like Jill after Jackson fell. You got to get your ass up at this particular time and crystallize your life.
Yes.
But you got to get rid of the parasites.
Yeah.
That's why I created a 28-day cleanse and detoxification program like there's nothing like it on the planet. And the reason why I created it was why do I need to do what everybody else is doing? Do something totally unique. Yeah. So after I had an experience, right, I created this program, which is not just herbs, because you can't get rid of parasites. And I'm not talking about your regular parasites. I'm talking about what's called systemic parasites. They live throughout the body. The eyes, you've seen them in your eyes. You look up at the sky or the white wall, you see little squiggly lines, and you're trying to hold your eye right, and they're waving at you, and you can see the mouth and the little legs, and you're wondering, well, that's just dust. No, dust is not navigating, you see? Yeah. This thing is alive. You see, in your eye, they're in your ears, they're in your body. There's one that lives in the brain called toxoplasma. Look that up. The brain control, the mind control parasite, toxoplasma. 75% of the people have it. So these parasites are controlling you. Now, Brother Andre started talking about them aliens, see? These off-worlders. Do you know what that some of them, when they land, they left drones here? Drones, huh? You know, you have these drones, little mechanical drones with propellers. Well, they got high technology. They don't need propellers and little lights and little motors. They got drones that are biological entities that they seeded the planet with. Some of the parasites here now are the drones of these societies of beings that are off-worlders. I need you to hear me now. One of them is called Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori. They also call it H. pylori. You see? Them suckers is, look at the picture of them. When you see them, they got an eye, they got tentacles, you know what I'm saying? They're kind of looking at you like, yeah, I got you. You see? Another one is the toxoplasma parasites. So some of the parasites here now were dropped off here as drones to control the human beings, not to control the superhumans, not to control the original, but to control those who have lost their path and lost their way. You see, to become the slave population. Yeah. So these parasites, right? Some of them are interdimensional parasites. They come on asteroids. Some of them come on space dust. Some of them travel on waves of light in the sun. There are so many different types of parasites that will use you if you're not aware. So I created a program, a 28-day program. It has herbs, essential elements, essential flowers, flower essences, it has crystal elixirs, and it has sound vibrations, because different groups of parasites are going to respond to certain things. And it puts out jamming frequencies that creates a situation where they can't call home.
Yeah.
You see?
Okay.
Where it helps you create your own virtual network that can't be, can't be read by other folks on the internet, because there's a universal internet. You can't be read. Your hair being natural. You know what I'm saying? You can't be read.
Right.
So it's about the detoxification program of 28 days that changes everything. This 28-day cleanse has changed people's lives all over the world. I've been told that I have the #1 cleanse on the planet. I might, but all I'm saying is it's #1 for you. And you could choose to do it right now, because we're right. We're still in the wave of the equinox. Equinox wave is 30 days.
Yeah.
So that means spring forward, and whatever you put in the ground right now, whatever you plant, whatever seeds is what's going to germinate, especially now because we're in the photon band. You see, talk to young brother, man. He'll tell you how deep this time is. There's never been a time like this. We've never been here before. History does not repeat itself. History has never repeated itself, ever. It's always something new. We're in a brand new place. But they do know, and like my elders told me, that with 2020 and 2021 was going to be the time to create the new beings. The new beings. We're becoming a new beings, the Nubians. We got a chance to become the Nubians again. They're the ones that built all the stuff on the Giza Plateau. Them folks moved in later and just took over. Mm-hmm. They did some gentrification back in the day and said, yeah, look at these pyramids. Let's just move in. And we think that they're the ones that's empowered and running things. They're not.
No.
So what I'm saying is that we have an opportunity right now to change everything.
Yes.
So on my website, Elevation Time, I have a lot of things that can help you change. One is the cleanse. Yes. There's something called the Total Body Parasite Paracleanse Program. Then there's the Elevated Total Body Program. We even have this thing called the Stimulus Program. Because, stimulus, if you look it up in the dictionary, it says to stimulate your organs and cells to heal. Do you know that? The word stimulus has to do with your body, has to do with healing. Mm-hmm. Hold on, I dropped my thing. You see, so they're giving you the stimulus plan, the stimulus program. You think that the stimulus program has to do with just them giving you this little $1,400 check or $600 a. They don't give me nothing. They got me on that list. They don't give me a dime. That's probably because I did that levitation. Ever since I did that, the black helicopters, black birds that don't look like mechanical birds, and people wearing all black, people with no pupils. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff happens that comes with this. But anyway.
Okay, I understand exactly where you're coming from.
You know what I'm talking about. That's why I got to change. I had to change it up. You know what I'm saying? Make it more fun, crack more jokes.
Me too.
He's just a comedian. That's right. Keep laughing. When I was serious, man, woo, it was deep. We'll talk about that in another show. So
we can relate.
We find that when people do this 28-day detoxification program, they change at the root level because you get rid of the parasites that are living in you. You turn off the drones that are in you, because almost everybody's got these drones. Because it's, you know, that's whew, wow. I get emotional when I start talking about this because it's so deep.
Yeah.
So when you detoxify at this level, not only from parasites, but from toxins, from molds and sugars and all of these things that are actually depressing you and regressing you. When you do this, you become liberated. You start changing at the root level. You think different, you feel different. Some of your incurable diseases disappear because the incurable disease was only incurable because you didn't cure it. You curated it. That means you help put the picture up, make sure it's right. You're curating, but you got to break the spell. You see, in the break the spell, it starts with changing your language and making better choices. So for those of you who are interested in our program and our cleanses, go to elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. And guess what, Andre? I decided to make a special deal with your audience to see who's really ready to crystallize and change. So when you go to the website, anything on the website you choose over $99, you put in the code springtime. Springtime code gives you 20% off of everything on the website, except one product, the stimulus program. The stimulus program is already $30 or for some crazy for 40% off. I can't remember, but you get a special deal. You get a chance to invest in yourself. So I'm offering that to your people right now. If they would like to go to the website, and this is only till Sunday. And if you'd like to purchase some of the programs, the classes, we've got workshops, we've got many things that we're offering people who are ready to change.
Yeah.
If you're willing and ready to do that, then we offer that. You see, but at this particular time, everything is available. There's new plants growing, new animals that they haven't seen. The cicada beetles is coming that they only come every 17 years. What do they know about this time? They only come when we're in certain places in space. See, places in spaces are a deep thing. So at the time when we could definitely wake up, but you won't get another chance because they shutting the camp down. See, the wolves and the reptilians and the pirates, oh, they know that their time is up. They only had 6,000 years.
Absolutely.
So now what they're trying to do is rape you mentally, physically, and spiritually so that they can live through you now. Now you've been, accosted. And now you become the reptilian thinker. You become a pirate of your own life. But you can get off of that by changing your mindset, changing what you're eating, cleansing and detoxifying. And my highest choice is that we make this choice to change the world by changing ourselves and begin to mind our business so we can grow and expand and levitate.
And levitate. I love it.
Absolutely. So, once again, I wanted to lead off with that and encourage, what we promised all the listeners is that this unity, this trinity, this collaboration of melanated people that are spiritually sensitive and benevolent to resurrecting our people from the brink of disaster. What we promised and what I promised in the promo leading up to this broadcast was that we were going to bring you complete balance on how to resurrect, how to rebuild your body, spirit, and soul, and also our societies. That right now we're living in a economic system that's being manipulated by the mentally deranged, psychotic 1%ers, and it's not a fair system. And so we're going to be working through our Urban Progress Alliance on developing a fair system, a fair economic system, within the group or the collection of people that are hearing what we're saying from a spiritual, metaphysical perspective. The people, there's so many people on the planet, and some of them you can talk until you're blue in the face and they're going to look at you like, I don't speak that language. But for those that speak this language, that are hearing what Dr. B is saying, hearing what my son and myself, what we're saying, we're bringing you the full balance. There is no excuse for you to be out of balance anymore. My son and I is going to bring the astrological piece. One of the things that Dr. B talked about is, the sperm the egg is already know what sperm is going to go into. So what we've studied is the metaphysical or the mathematical equation of the electromagnetic fields in the solar system. So we know which sperm is going to win and why, which DNA is going to pull on to create balance or give special abilities to each and every human on this planet. There are basic 144 different human basic characteristics, and each and every one of them are equal. They are balanced. They contribute to the whole. And so we understand that science. Instead of men and women going out and picking a mate based on how they look, or like the doctor said earlier, oh, they're light skinned, they're short, they're tall. No, there is a balance for you. And we know those formulas. So the things that we're bringing to you today is the resurrection of mankind. You know, all this, the vision, again, is being manipulated by those low vibrational beings. And they have a free get out of jail card because the beings of the Most High want us to be tested. They want us to appreciate us overcoming these trials and tribulations with love and for one another, unity, you know. And so all of these divisive systems, we have to recognize them, but you can start here with this collaboration with Dr. B's system. Go to his website, order his product. I'm using one of them right now, and it works. I'm in almost 70, and you know, certain parts start to shut down in your body. Well, mine is being revitalized. So go to it. The man is making these products with love. And so you put faith and confidence in Satan, Lucifer, Darth Vader all this time taking their medicine. So why not take a look at a man that's producing products with love? And then, you know, and so this program is going on the road. We're going to be developing a collaboration to go into different cities to talk about these things, teach these principles so that you can reacquire balance in your life.
And don't forget the feminine energy, because that brings the further balance.
So you say you're going on the road too?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. You know Miss Brenda got to be there now. Oh yeah.
I was called the senior queen mother by Candy Lowe. So that brought me an even higher elevation. So yes, I'm going to buy the detox because I've never used it, Dr. B, but my order's going in today. And I'm going to tell you something personal that has happened. I've had a surgery where they've taken the majority of my small intestines. And so therefore, my whole digestive system is different and changed. And now I realize from this conversation today that I must, whatever I have left, I'm regenerating my intestines for sure, but I want to regenerate them in a healthy way, and that's what I've asked for. So the detox will certainly help me, and then changing my eating habits as well. So I'm gonna be that example, that feminine energy that says, yes, this is what's happening, and I will elevate to a higher level of vibration and frequency, and I will help bring down any other institutions that are not proper in our planet. Well, I promise you.
Thank you. And when they took a piece of your intestines, did they show it to you?
No.
What'd they do with it?
At the Moffitt Cancer Center, they probably are still studying it, because what they told me was I had a very rare case of cancer, which was called leiomyosarcoma. And so they cut away a lot of my intestines, and then I developed a blockage.
Question.
They took more.
Do you think they're studying it, or they sold it to somebody that needed some new intestines? You see?
Yes.
You have to crystallize, and you don't know what they did. So when you outpicture what you think they did and what they told you to do what they told you they did, then you are crystallizing that imagination. Okay. There's a class that I have online that I taught last week. It's called The Right Use of Imagination.
Okay.
Take that course.
Okay.
Because you don't know what they did. You were asleep.
That's
all
right.
You know, you woke up with an incision. They might have done nothing. You don't know what they did. But if you believe it, you crystallize it, it's real. If you say my digestive system is whole, it starts becoming whole. Those genes are listening to you talk. Your genes are your genies. When you say something, you send out morphogenic fields. You begin to send out fields of energy that actually change and morph and metamorph based on the belief in the power and the force, right? Or the power, not force, but the power of your will. You're whole. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed I do.
You just gotta detoxify to stay whole. Otherwise, you will have what? All this other junk and muck creating thoughts and depression and sadness, and you're watching the news, how bad it is. Your immune system is getting weaker and weaker. Didn't they try to tell you that the coronavirus is a parasite? How come the #1 shot that they're giving around the world is for parasites for this? It's a shot. They say it's for horse parasites. You see? It's parasites. So you got to change the way you look at life, each person, right now.
Yes.
Now, if you're going to go online, you may want to join the affiliate program. So as you tell other people about it, they send you money. Why not you get paid? You're in the natural health business. You know, all of y'all on this show right now can become affiliates.
Yeah.
So once you're an affiliate, guess what? You're getting residual income. Like the brother said, you can't wait on one check. In fact, the money that you're receiving don't even exist. It's fiat. They didn't know gold. They don't represent nothing. They're just typing numbers. Where are they getting all this money from? They don't have no money. There ain't been no money. It's a promissory note. There ain't no money. You see? They're going to run out of it. They ain't going to run out of typing fingers. They're going to keep typing. They're about to run out of money. The dollar going to crash. Ain't no dollars crashing. That's to keep you in fear. They keep telling you all this thing to keep you fearful. Look, live your life. Do what you choose to do. You see? So the right use of imagination course is on my website under classes. Then if you'd like to go real deep, there's one called the Total Life Transformation course. I guarantee if you do what I'm saying to do in that course, it gives you 7 things that you must do every day. Your life will change. Guaranteed, whether it's in love, finances, your health, it will change because I am actually, it's symbols I'm showing you. There's sounds I'm playing. There are things that I'm doing that are causing your consciousness to change at the root level called the subconscious. You see? So you can be conscious all you want, but the subconscious is running the show, right? You could be conscious all day long. I this and I that. And the subconscious comes online and says, you're going back to get them chicken wings. You need them chicken wings. You see? I walked up there like this. I mean, let me tell you, I ate them chicken wings. I even cooked them so well that I could chew the bones. I put them on the bottom broiler and just roasted them until they was crispy. Until I turned them into acrylamide. You know, when you put that hot grease in meat, right? And you cook it fast, it creates an acrylic called acrylamide. See, it's on your fingernails. I can see it there, Brenda. That's acrylamide. You are actually making the hot grease, the flesh, and the meat create acrylamide. It's a plastic. You're talking about getting plastic surgery, you eating plastic dinner. You see what I'm saying? And you wonder what's wrong with you, doc. You're laying up there naked at the hospital talking about, well, doc, what happened to me? Well, we're not sure. We're going to give you a shot and cut you. You ate it. So you're clogged up with toxicity. And you have no choice. If you choose to not cleanse and detoxify now, you're done. This is what they're telling you on the news. They're telling you. Yeah. They're shutting this camp down. They're shutting the prison camp down. Only for those who are not black sheep. The black sheep is jumping over. You see, look, they came up with a nursery rhyme for all y'all black sheeps to get you to not be black sheeps. Bad black sheep. Baba means soul man. Baba black sheep. Have you any wool? Now the real black sheep don't answer the farmer, right? This nigga, he stops, turns around and says, yes sir, 3 bags full. One for the such and such, one for Willie, one for Bobby, and he gives away all of his wool. Wool is money, it's value. That's what the wool was the money at this particular time. He gives up all of his wool, shaved down till he was pink underneath. You see what I'm saying? The black sheep doesn't give up its wool, doesn't give up its information. The black sheep goes out and eats the herbs in the pastures. The black sheep knows how to heal itself. It goes on the farm, hangs around, has a little intimacy and leaves at night. You see what I'm saying? It's not afraid of the dark because it is the dark, because it's in darkened, because we come from darkness. We are the darkness. It's melanated. Melanin is a biopolymer chemical that has everything. That is the real integrated circuit. That's the real chip that's already in you. If you don't use the chip that's in you, they make you into a potato chip. And you walking around waiting for them to give you some more potato chips, calling them Lays. And now you laid out, talking about you've been raped. Well, you was laid out because you ate the Lays potato chips that had TBHQ in them. The TBHQ, what is TBHQ? TBHQ is a chemical that 1 gram of it will kill you. They put that in the hot grease at all of these fast food places so the grease don't smell bad. So instead of them having to change that grease every week, they ain't got to change it but every 2 months or so. TBHQ, look it up, TBHQ. It's in thousands of foods, right? And it's not killing you right away. It kills you slowly. It makes you like a zombie. You can't feel yourself. You used to have great orgasms and now you don't know if you had one or not. I think I almost had one. What you mean you don't know you had an orgasm? Well, I think now, what is actually, now I remember I had one time with Willie Jenkins. Willie Jenkins, he left one day and didn't never come back. So I ain't had one since. I've been trying to chase him. And all these new young people, they don't know nothing about a good orgasm or an organism. They just don't know. Lord have mercy. You see, because we have been disorganized. See, orgasm reorganizes the organism.
Yes.
And yeah, this is a commercial for a class that's coming up about sacred sexuality.
Okay.
We used to give them, but it got real deep. People was coming naked, taking off clothes in the lecture. Folks wanted live demonstrations. You know what I'm saying? Some folks without melanin had got naked in the back of the class and was doing naughty nectars and things in the back. You see? But I'm just saying that it's time to teach this about being sacred with yourself, and sacred loving is beautiful. So stay online. Make sure you get on our email list. We got a lot of classes coming up. We're going to be teaching herbalism. I'm going to be teaching metaphysical herbalism. I'm going to teach people to do this technique I do called subconscious alignment, where it can reset your subconscious and help you reach your goals. All of those things are coming up. So you stay with Elevation Time, elevationtime.com. And don't forget the code for your discount up until Sunday, springtime. Not two separate words, springtime. Don't be calling me, the Dr. B. What was it called? What was it? Was it spring off or spring on? Or
I wrote it down.
I heard what you were saying, but you had said something about sexuality that had me all worked up. And I almost had Niagara Falls on myself. And, I just couldn't hear the code because people's minds get, I'm saying a lot really quickly because there's enough time for me to give this to you in a way so you can go back. Hopefully you got a replay of this. Is it going to be a replay? Is there a replay of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm recording it as well.
And we're gonna post it, on our website and Straight Talk on Facebook and our Straight Talk website. That's going to be, we'll be broadcasting directly from that in the future. But folks, to all of our listening audience, I'm gonna call you family. This is a family that found themselves. We've been separated over the planet, but the vibrations of the Most High brought us together. This is a family that came together with love and appreciation for one another. And so join our organization. Go to upaall.com. Brenda's got the phone number. Contact us, send her an email. Join up with us. We're going to get you healthy. We're going to work with Dr. B on the metaphysical, on alchemists, on all levels, on astrological. We're going to realign your soul. I know this has been a 2-hour show today. Typically we go 1 hour, but this was a very special show. Yes. And the whole time I'm listening, I'm getting chill bumps because I understand what's about to happen. What's about to manifest in terms of the resurrection of our species from the brink of darkness. So join us. Be a part. Don't, as they said, don't be scared. You don't have to fear that wolf. Come on and join us.
Hold on now. The show is over? I was getting ready to drop the heavy stuff. I didn't drop the heavy stuff yet. I got to say this really quick. So this brother Andre, let me tell you how I know him. Because he called the other day and I knew who he was when he called because they told me I was going to get this call right around this time. So the wise ones always had this information. I don't know how they got it, but they had it. And they said, somebody gonna call you. And when the brother called, he said a few things that triggered me and reminded me of who he was. We was all standing around. We had built the whole pyramid. We had the whole thing. We had the bricks laid out based on the sun and an alignment of Sirius and Orion's belt. Everything was perfectly aligned. But then we had this huge black capstone we had to put up, right? We couldn't figure out how to get it up there. We didn't have no crane. People that was doing levitation was tired. They had went to sleep, and you know what I'm saying? There was an argument with Willie and his wife. So they, you know, he had to rush home, and he the one that know how to get the levitation ignited. And then this brother Andre walks up and he says, everybody leave. So we all left. We don't know what's going on. Why is he wants us to leave? Who is this guy? All we know is we came the next day, and as the sun rose, the light hit the pyramid and the capstone was up. And this brother was eating 1 grain of rice. He lifts the capstone that nobody else can lift.
Yeah.
That's who he is. And he's full of it. He got a lot of information, and he's attempting to give it to you slowly. But sometimes this can make you crazy, having all this information coming to you from the universal God, and you having to give it slowly to the people and speak a language they can hear you in. So I would just like to thank you, Andre, you know, for us meeting. Thank you, you know, Brenda Allen. See, that's them 2 A's. See, that's that pyramid. You see what I'm saying? A is the beginning. That's the one. You got to be on the one. You see, didn't George Clinton say that? We got to be on the one. I remember playing with George Clinton. He's like, man, the one, right? You got to be on the one and be in oneness. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing to be here with you all at this time. There is a wonderful, beautiful, amazing opportunity that's here now that's never been here before. That's why they keep jamming you. That's why there's the weapons of mass distraction. This is the age of distraction. You see, to get you to look over here, when over here, the fence for the farm is gone. It fell down in the winter snow. Yeah. And the sheep don't even know it because they're worried about getting their what? You know, crappinations and all this, getting in line. Next, you need a shot to travel. I don't need nothing to do. I've been traveling for 100 million years, along with brothers like Andre and his son and you, sister. And we do need the divine feminine to be up front, because men, we got to step back. We're in a feminine age, which means to magnetize, to be more open, to have more surrendering, open up. You know, you're talking about, the lady said, well, you know, I gave him a little bit of sex. I said, what do you mean you gave him a little bit? I said, well, I didn't really know what, he didn't make no promise. I didn't want him milking the dog through the fence. I said, what is this? Where y'all get these sayings from? You was with the man and you didn't, well, I don't know that. I said, well, you shouldn't have been with him. If you're not going to go for it, if you're not going to look at your food and take a grace, a space before you eat your food, just don't gobble the food down. Give reverence, you see, to the food. And the grace is a space between you, because when you look at it and just wait for a minute, the energy comes in through your eyes, hit your pineal gland, goes down the vagus nerve and tells every cell in your body what you're about to digest. That's why a lot of stuff is not digestible, because you didn't have a grace period. And you didn't really realize what you were about to eat, what you were going to consume, and you didn't take into consideration what might be consuming you. You see, because people are into consumerism, but you got to become a producer. You can consume, but you got to produce too. So we have a chance, a great opportunity to produce right now. Don't worry about money. Money comes from everywhere. It's everywhere. Now, don't wait for the government. You got to become your own government, be your own manager, your own what? Your own producer, your own writer, your own copywriter, your own publicist. You got to be the governor. You got to be what? The president. You got to be the vice president. You got to vote for yourself. You got to elect and select yourself first. Then you might pick one other person to select with. And you got to be very selective, you see, about who you're selecting with, because you're creating voltage and giving new life. You see, you want to be with somebody, you know, they full of parasites. You on the cleanse, right? And guess what? Parasites cross-contaminate. Now you got them. They go back and forth. They traveling. They taking their family. Because see, the parasites are focused. They go to their church. They read Parasite Bible. They at church every day. They got one of the best organs and choirs you could ever have in your life. It's the Parasite Church. And they follow their law. You see, they're going to eat, they're going to devour, and they're going to control everything they control. But you can break that spell. You can break the spell. We don't have to be in destruction. We have to be in reconstruction, because we're in a renaissance. We are levitating our lives right now. That's why we call our business Elevation Time. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying this to say that this brother, Andre, he's on one. He's not from here. He's wearing human clothing, but he's not a human being. He's an original being traveling billions of miles through the galaxy. And his son, the only reason why he's here is to teach his father.
Ironically,
the father had his father. Don't get me started. The father had his father. So
ironically,
our children are our parents, and our parents are our children's parents. We're all one.
when I asked Andre Sr. which planet he was from, he told me Sirius B.
That's where I'm from. And see, there was a little planet. There was a little planet. That's why they call me that. There was a planet called Potolo. Potolo is the planet that went around Sirius. And that whole system, it was 3 spirals around each other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's spirituality.
Yeah.
See, spirituality is spirituality. Everything is spiraling. To spiral means to expand and grow. It's a circle expanding out. It's turning out. You ready to get turned out?
Yeah.
You better be ready to get turned out.
That's how I was
turning in. You've been
that's
turning in, going around and around on the merry-go-round. You know them animals on that merry-go-round look scary. You ever look at the merry-go-round? That's the scariest thing. And that music, do, 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 do. You put your child on that ugly thing and you wonder why the child is crying? Because it's scary, it's frightening. But then the child gets used to fear. And that's why the child will go sit on Santa Claus's lap. Who is this dude? You gonna put your child on the lap of this man? And you want to know why there's all kind of children missing? Because you put your child on the lap of that man. Huh? He sees you if you're weeping. He sees you if you're good or bad. He sees you for goodness sake. This is a peeping Tom. You want to tell the kid he's going to come down and chimney and bring something. He's going to take something. Because you have to realize that these stories were all given to you. Yeah. This is all Willie Lynch to make you feel like you don't have it, to divide you from yourself. You got to be like Moses, and you got to get the river and the ocean to open up. You see what I'm saying? But you can't wander for 40 years and 40 nights. You can't wander. You can't drift. You have to be focused and crystallize your imagination. And I'm teaching you in this class, right, which is online now, how to crystallize your imagination and make almost anything come to be. I've been doing it. A lot of what I've done in my life is considered impossible. I was the first young Black record producer in the Los Angeles area at the time. There was no such thing. I said, well, there's no such thing. It's impossible. You can't do it. Well, how come I was doing it a year later? You see, a lot of the things that we do are impossible. When you look at my formulations, right? This formula right here is called Platinum Life Elixir. It's gold, iridium, rhodium, and platinum in a high spin state. It rejuvenates your genes, right? It gets rid of heavy metals, and it makes you grow young. This is a product I created with Dick Gregory. So it's called the Platinum Life Elixir, Monoatomic Elixir, Gregory Reserve. And I made this for Dick Gregory, and it was only for him. You see what I'm saying? And I made it, and he decided to go on the radio, went around the country. I was getting calls from everywhere. We want that Gregory Reserve. I'm like, what is that? They said, what's a product that I said, Mr. Gregory, what is this? He said, I told him about the stuff you gave me. I said, I don't have them. He said, well, you better get busy because people are going to be calling. Right? I said, I want to name it after you. He says, only over my dead body. So I couldn't put his name on it till after he was laying there. He had transitioned peacefully, right? He left his body peacefully, right? Yeah. He was laying there smiling, right? And they had him in the little crypt, and he was smiling. And he kind of opened his eyes, looked at me, and says, all right, now you can put that product out. So now we have this Platinum Life Elixir. This is amazing. Your pineal will never crystallize again. It opens up your pineal immediately.
Man.
You begin to see the entire galaxy within you. You are not separate. We are all Sirius. You see, we're all travelers. We're all from different parts, and we're mixtures. We're all mixed. We're hybrids, right? Well, you got to be a higher breed, not a low breed. See, you got hybrids and low breeds. You see what I'm saying? So we, at this time, we have these opportunities. I could go on and on about what we're offering at this time at Elevation Time, but go to the website. There's classes, there's workshops, there's interviews. In fact, there's interviews with Dick Gregory and I. We used to do radio together. We used to travel together. And I have 13 mentors, 13 teachers in my life. So I'm very fortunate, and I would like to share this information. And this is what I do. I'm imparting it to you. And my highest choice is that you hear what we are saying at this time. All of us here on this station, and share this. And don't be so stingy. Offer it to people, but don't fight them. Just offer it. Say a few words. Don't talk bad about their chicken wings and start talking about Dr. B said it's a fake bird and they injected it with estrogen in its wing, and that's why you all infaminated. You see? so you know, don't be so zealot and try to force people to do things. Just offer the situation. Gentle wishing, gentle love. But be more loving, have more grace, and be grateful in advance. Don't pray for nothing. Be grateful in advance and say, I am grateful in advance for blah, 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 blah. The new car, the new house, the new relationship, the money, because you're all about to get a lot of wealth right now. You know, the reparations is in you. I will show you how to become very wealthy. Listen, there's 13 people on the planet right now that are multi-millionaires who studied with Dr. B. I'll teach you how to do this. You got to do what I'm telling you to do, and shut up. Stop talking. Stop bringing all your problems to the class. You know, you got dirty galoshes on and mud you're bringing into the classroom and talking about all this craziness. Leave that out of the classroom. Be willing to be open and surrender. If you're going to be intimate, be willing to open up and surrender and bring new life. That's how the egg attracts the sperm to create new life. Because every time you're intimate, you're creating new life. And if you say $50 million building, we're building for people of wellness, and you make love with that mindset, you're going to give birth to it, and it travels at 770 billion miles per second through the galaxy, hits the other side, and comes back to you. So we're actually teaching people to do this. So I would like to work with you. I am working with you. Let's go on the road. Let's teach people, whether it be wealth, health, sexuality, beauty, love, and your intestines are whole.
Yes, they are.
You mention something about them cutting on you, and they took something and they got it down in the laboratory, I'm going to have to choke you up, snatch you by your mental neck, get you back into yourself. You're whole. I am whole.
I am whole.
I am healthy. But let's get rid of them parasites, because I can look at your eyes and I just saw one shoot across your eyelid. Right? I was talking. So everybody, we're offering you a way to liberate your life. And it starts internally. Detox, cleanse, and be clear. And then you become clairvoyant, clear audio, and you are connected.
Yes.
See, much love to you all.
Thank
we
you.
overtime, because I was going to say something else, but I know we're overtime. We'll save that.
Well, this is definitely will not be the last show. This is the introductory of a great collective, of a great coming together. So this is powerful, and we're going to be meeting and coming together very soon with more broadcasts, more information, and the rejuvenation and the resurrection from the brink of ignorance. And that's what this show is all about. We want to thank our executive producer, KB. She's here in the studio with us. We want to thank all of our UPA staff that are working with us from in the accounting, in the community garden programs, all these things that we're working on, bringing you substance to resurrect yourself from that brink of destruction. This has been the Straight Talk Morning Show. Thank you for listening. And be sure to tune in next week, next Saturday at 11 a.m. We're going to bring it again. Thank you very much.
Much love.
Thank you very much. Travel light, everybody. You don't need all that luggage, because most of it's not yours.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Peace
out.
Peace, family.
Bye-bye.
Have your son call me. We need to talk.
I'm gonna call you so ASAP. I got you.
Give him the private number. Give him that private phone number. I got a black phone with a private network on it.
I got you.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace, family. Peace.
Much love.